Hey everyone, so I wanted to talk to you guys today about some of the subject matter that's going to be coming up in my next upcoming videos. So the next one that's coming up is something that I recorded towards the end of September, and then the one after that is going to be ones from, I want to say the end of July. I'm not 100% sure about the dates. It's stuff that's been stuck on my memory card. I can't get them processed off of there, and so I'm doing my best to do that. I am totally determined, and it's gonna happen. So since I'm doing this from memory, hopefully there won't be too much repetitive things, and hopefully it'll be a cohesive and make sense. But surely, you can revisit these videos obviously whenever you want, and maybe after those you can come back to this and kind of tie it all together a little bit. So I wanted to kind of introduce myself a little bit in those videos, and I talked about a very touchy subject, I think probably for some people, which has to do with the darker side of things. As you guys are fully aware, I work with the angelic realm. That is something that I fully back, I'm fully behind. I am of God, and I really aspire to be someone that can really bring the light out in other people. That is something that I've always felt was my mission since I was a child, and I have just that's my life's work. And so as you see these celebrity readings, I want you to understand that I'm only pulling out from a thin scope of the reality of who they are, right? I'm communicating with their guardian angels. I'm communicating with the archangels. Sometimes I'm communicating with passed away loved ones, and I'm also working with my guardian angels as well. And the reality is some celebrities on camera and off camera, and people as well that I've done readings for, like that aren't celebrities that I've done readings for in my personal life, they do have darker parts of them, right? And ultimately what it comes down to is your free will, okay? And you have the opportunity to have freedom of thought. The majority of us have freedom of expression and the right to choose for a lot of things that we want to do in life and to achieve. And it's really important that you guys understand and remember, even with any psychic or anything that you envision or prophesize or prophecy, is that the word, prophesize? Anyway, that you see of what's to come, that this can, to a certain degree, be altered. Okay, it can to a certain degree, because we have a bigger law of physics that occur that I would tie back to really what karma is. And we choose the life lessons that we have, okay? Ultimately, this is a thing that we have chosen because our soul wants to expand. Our soul wants to return back to God, okay? And this is a universal God. This is one God. It doesn't matter what religion that you fall under, because ultimately, what I've seen psychically is under the different sects of religion, like sect, S-E-C-T-S, I believe is probably like sects, like, you know what I'm saying, like sections of religion or types of religion, whatever it is, it has a lot to do with the rituals of previous beings on earth, or gods that were worshipped that is not the one God. People like Jesus, Gandhi, probably, people like that have existed, that represent God, source, God energy. yeah, I do see as falling in line with that one source. But of course, there's other religions that have similar things, but it does get a little dicey when we start looking into some of the ritualistic things that we've come to do. You know, how do I say this? Am I making sense though? Am I making sense already? Or have I just gone on a tangent? Anyway, so let's just circle back to that if I need to and get on to about me. So it is something that I mentioned in my next video, which is when I was a child, I was shown that I would be able to know more information earlier than what I had originally planned for myself if I followed through with darker entities. And I was told that I had done that previously and that I was not wanting in this lifetime to do that again. And I was aware that if I chose that path, it would directly affect people in my life that I would come to love and cherish and really care for. And that I would basically repeat past lifetimes if I did that. So it's under my belief that previous lifetimes I was not a good person. I would have been someone who was involved in darker ritualistic things. I would have been someone who was involved with probably the Wiccan environment. And, you know, I also feel I have ties to Egypt. And the reason, other than me being told that and some of the other things that I've experienced through life, what leads me to this belief is because a lot of the information that I gather and the passion that I feel about being against it, I feel comes from these previous lifetimes of being that kind of person and knowing that that's not the kind of person that I want to be. As a soul, I feel like when I was created, I wanted to experience it all. And that's only speaking for me. Some souls, like you, could specifically not have felt the desire to do that. You could have felt like you just wanted to stay, you know, of the light all the time. It really depends on the soul because we're all unique souls. And so I really trust myself and I trust my work in the sense that I feel, not just from this lifetime and the experiences that I've had being surrounded by darkness and always choosing what's dignified and what's with integrity, like moving in integrity, that it's the previous lifetimes of having experience of not being someone that has integrity, of someone who just bulldozes all over people. And it's such a contrast to who I am in this lifetime that it's like it's not, like, I don't see things through judgment, I guess. Like, I have standards, but I guess I don't see it through judgment because I can empathize with it. And I really feel that my calling, like me specifically, to be who I am today, I had to be a certain way and do certain things in order to decide for myself what was right. Because I'm a very curious person. I'm a very, I really like researching things and figuring things out. And, you know, what I've learned, even with my, I don't know if I've really gotten into it. I can't remember in the next video. But I keep myself ignorant about things going on in the world and about religion and just a lot of things, because for me, I need to figure it out for myself psychically. And that's just the way that I operate. And so, you know, I just want you guys to figure out for yourselves too, like who you are and like what your triggers are and what your darkness is. Like, identify the darkness within yourself, because there is something there, right? Like, you don't have to be a bad person or have bad thoughts, but like there might be something that you're afraid of. There might be something that you are concerned about or something, and figure out the source of it. Is it from a past life? Is it from this lifetime? And throw it into the light. Like, be open about it to yourself, and don't run from those fears and don't run from that darkness. Because when we talk about darker beings, that is what they capitalize on, okay? They're very, I say intelligent, but it's not necessarily intelligent to me. It's more of just tricky. Because to me, true intelligence is love. True intelligence is compassion and tolerance and, you know, just being inclusive and generous and kind. Like, that is true intelligence. That is really it. That is it. Love is really, that's all. And so what they do is like a manipulation. So I guess it would just be like it's an illusion of intelligence, right? But they know you in and out. These darker entities know you in and out, and that's not to scare you, because you don't want to be afraid of this, but it's to empower you. You know, it's to empower you by understanding yourself, understanding what makes you tick, or like what makes you afraid, or what makes you like kind of like withdraw your energy, and tackle that, right? Like, use your free will in order to say, where am I giving up my freedoms? Where am I giving up my liberties within myself? And what can I do to change that, right? Sometimes, you know, and that's what I say with like some of this like manifestation and all this stuff. Yes, it's witchcraft, and I'll get into that in a minute, but not everyone has that luxury of manifesting something into their life, right? Like, there are some circumstances that are just not realistic for the life that you currently are in. And that's just the reality of things, right? But you have the freedom of thought, right? And you have, for the most part, freedom of expression. Don't allow yourself to entrap yourself. Don't allow entities to pull on your strings and make you believe that you aren't worthy of being exactly who you feel you deserve to be in this lifetime, right? And as long as it's something that brings out the creativity in you and enlightens you and makes you feel expansive, like you will know, like your heart will expand. It'll feel like it's bursting open. Your mind will feel like it's free flowing. And that's how you know, right? And you just have to keep practicing and working on yourself in order to identify those positive traits in yourself, right? If you feel down in the slumps, or you feel anxious, or you feel depressed and stressed out, then you just have to keep trying. You just have to keep practicing, you know? And I always told myself, like, in some of the darker days, you know, of like feeling sad, or, you know, kind of like just not feeling great, it's like the step one is knowing you're alive, right? You wake up and you say, okay, number one's done. I'm alive. Number two, how do I want to feel today? And sometimes it doesn't work out as planned, but as long as you try and you fight, then eventually you hit your stride and it doesn't feel like a struggle anymore, right? It just feels like every day it gets better, it gets better. And sometimes not so much. Like, that's just the way life is. But yeah, so I guess that's the biggest thing, is to kind of just hone in, because I also don't want to say that I was demonic, because to me personally, and I don't know how I worded it in there, I don't know if I just skimmed it or not, but what I've seen psychically is true demons, like true demons, are it's a creation of the collective consciousness in a negative vibration, in a lower vibration. And so they don't possess a soul. And so the power that is drawn from the most pure demonic entity is through the unhealed and the unbalanced souls that exist present day, right? In whatever fashion that they're existing, right? Because as we know, like, people who've passed away from this life are still existing. Their souls are still here, right? And so, and I'll explain a little bit more in my next video, but it's like, that's what that is. You can still be a bad person and be of the darkness, like, and have those dark, like, being a bad person is being darker, right? And doing some of these things that are obviously bad things allow these attachments onto you. You know, and that's what's happening on a spiritual level. You know, even if you don't see possession in real life, and some of the dark aspects of yourself, you know, there are things, entities, again, not to scare you, but they do attach to you. And so when you pull, the way to pull them off of you, to get them out of you, and to keep your physical body to yourself, is to raise your vibration, is to free yourself of the confines of your mind, and find that balance, because you don't want to be totally spiritual and neglect the beauty of this world, the beauty of being here present day, to be able to create and to see and to physically experience this. But you also don't want to be too grounded and deny yourself of your discernment and deny yourself of your intuition, because as souls, all of us do possess some sort of psychic ability, right? We all do, which again, I'll get into that in the next video. But that's something that's unique to human beings, that we have this beautiful balance that we can kind of work with, of being here in the physical realm and taking those spiritual gifts and creating something in 3D with those abilities. We're all born of something unique within us. We're all born of something creative and beautiful and divine within us. And it's about working through all the things that interest us, and just trying different things, and you know, always searching to become better, that we are able to kind of hone in on what it is that truly makes us feel expansive. So yeah, that's what I want to talk about. To touch on white, I talked about white magic, dark magic or black magic, and manifestations and stuff like that. So a little bit of clarification there. I do want to talk about manifestation versus like visualization, probably. You know, I think there's a huge difference between that, and people intertwine it. And sometimes I intertwine it as well, because I feel like the word manifestation's been perverted into what it is now, where people are trying to manifest things, when in reality what you're doing is visualizing, and you're goal setting, and you are aspiring for something that is realistic within your life, right? And I think a lot of people do these things where they're saying they're manifesting things, but in reality you're just kind of telling yourself that you're doing more than what you're actually doing. right? You're saying, this is what I want, and this is what I'm working towards, and this is whatever. And in reality, you need to put the work in. You need to believe in yourself, and you need to really really like work towards your goals and believe in yourself, right? Believe in yourself and believe that whatever higher power, like angelic power, God, because what it is your guardian angels are helping you on your spiritual path. Okay? They have, first of all, the archangels have a record of your soul. Like they have remained archangels since the beginning of time. Those souls have been as that this entire time, and they are in charge, kind of, I guess, like they're in charge of other angels throughout the realms, and there's other angels with different tiers as well. And those angels also have their own life lessons that they have to figure out, and not necessarily heal, but just expand their awareness and their energy as well, and become purified even more, and help everyone else, because that's the whole purpose, in a way. And so from there, our guardian angels are just that, our guardians, and they know, they have record, and they know what we have set out to do in this lifetime. They remember, and they're watching us, and again, they respect our free will, so we can choose within our life of what we want to do, but they're definitely advising us. They're definitely protecting us as much as they can within their own abilities. But this is our life. We have the choice to live it in whatever way we want, right? Like I personally, I can take my free will and go run off and, I don't know, like rob the grocery store. I have no idea. That was a weird example. But like I can go do something that is totally not supposed to be in my chart, right? Like my life, what I mean by chart is like my life. To me, it looks like a piece of paper. Like that's kind of how I see it, where it's like promises. It's like promises. Like I'm going to do this in this lifetime, and the reason I'm doing it is because in a previous lifetime, I didn't really like the way that played out. And I think this is the best thing for me, and then another thing would be like, I'm going to do this because I really think that that's going to bring value to the world and people, whatever. Like everyone's different and it's to different capacities. But essentially, your guardian angels are here to remind you and to kind of push you in the right direction if need be. But ultimately, they're just kind of watching over you. And you can pray to them and you can talk to them anytime you want. They are here, and they know you more than anyone could ever know you. Because we tend to forget when we come to this life. That's really what it is. But that's also another thing to point out, you guys, is like, no matter if you ever feel alone in the world and you feel like it's such a cold and desolate place and no one's here, no one's helping you or anything, you do. I promise, I swear on everything, you guys, you have guardian angels, and there are plenty of them, and they take form to me as people. I've seen them as people, and they are your soul family. So it's people that you would recognize. Like as you cross over, you would recognize them. Even if you didn't recognize them in this lifetime, you would be like, oh my gosh, hey, like I remember you now. And there could be people that you've known in this lifetime, if you feel that they have a very special impact on your life. If you feel that your family, if you're very close with your family or anyone, and they've crossed over before you and you feel like they're watching over you, or if you desire to have them there with you as you cross, they'll be there. And so don't ever feel like you're alone. Like it can be kind of like confusing and difficult in the 3D to like look around and like if you really feel alone, and you know, like I don't know. It's interesting because it's like, I guess you can like compare it to like being in a little box. Like you're in a box and you feel like all you see, like your whole existence is within this box. But if you just look up, you see like the reality that you're just in a box, in a room, in a house, on an island, or you know, on a planet, you know, and it expands, and there's just so much more than you even realize. And even in the box, people are watching you and they love you so much and they respect you and they value you and they know that you're worthy no matter where you are on your journey, okay? And let's talk about the crafting. So I do mention that I do not believe that white witchcraft is good. Like spell crafting, all of that stuff, I don't agree with. What I've seen psychically, okay, I'm gonna be honest, what I've seen psychically is when you do things with good intention, then that is high vibrational. Therefore, technically, it is of God, right? So it's all about what you truly intended, like where your heart lies with the things that you do, right? So I think also, like for me, I've probably done like, I think that, okay, I'll give you a personal example, is I am like very, I don't know, like I genuinely want to help people, you know, and sometimes I feel like I do it, like I overthink it. Like sometimes I'll overthink it and I'll be like worried that I don't know. I think I'm just like oversensitive, like too sensitive, I guess. I'm trying to give an example and I can't really think. I'm like drawing a blank because I just remember how I feel, which is like I feel bad. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm like, see, I can't even think of an example. But it's like I like over concern myself or over worry like about people. I don't know. Okay, anyway, let's just move past that since I can't even think of a good example of myself. But yeah, so like even if you, okay, here's an example. If you try and give someone a peanut butter and jelly sandwich because they're starving and then you find out they have a peanut allergy and then you beat yourself up over it, okay? That's an example right there. And then you're like, I should have never done that. I should have asked them if they had a peanut allergy. Like, all I tried to do was do the right thing, and now they have a $50,000 hospital bill, and it's all my fault, you know, yada, yada, yada. Well, you tried to do the right thing. You tried. Like, your intentions were in the right place, so it's okay. Like, sometimes we make mistakes, and now you learn, like, hey, people have allergies, and even if they're really, really hungry, you know, I know better. Well, it's not that you know better because they should have told you, but anyway, y'all know you get what I'm saying. So that's actually what I see, is if you're doing like this crafting and whatever, but you genuinely are doing it from like a place of love and just trying to like help other people, then, you know, you technically, yeah, you're high vibing. So that's okay. But for me personally, the disconnect for me comes in where it's like, I'm trying to tell you guys, because if you go higher than that and you expand and like look at it from like I don't know, like around, like a whole thing, is white magic and black magic is still the same thing. It's still the same energy, because you're fighting fire with fire. I feel the opposite of magic, which is control. Magic is control. You're trying to control the outcome. You're trying to control the energy output. Then surrender would be the opposite. And that's truly the way that I was able to get as psychic as I've gotten, is through surrendering to the process. And it's a very slow process for me personally, but it's a receptive process. It's a process where I really, I respect the boundaries that are set for myself. I don't try and push them too much. Sometimes I do, because I get really, really curious, but I would never overstep, because I don't want to hurt my progress, but ultimately I really feel that the more that you heal yourself and the more that you do what's best for yourself, the more you can help other people. And that's really, truly my biggest motivation, because hopefully I'm not going to bring myself to tears with this, but the beauty and the purity and the peace and the true love that I've experienced and felt through my abilities is so healing. And I just can't imagine ever doing anything to jeopardize that for anyone else. If everyone could feel what I have felt in those moments, I truly believe that is the secret to world peace. I do. And it's taken me a very long time to understand that within myself. It's taken a lot of hard work within myself, and eventually I will open up to you guys and tell you in more detail about things in my life, but I want to do it in a way that's makes sense, you know? Like, I want to be able to like point it out in a place that makes sense. And yeah, so I just really, that's why I feel that way about manifestation in the context of witchcraft, which is usually what you guys are doing when you're doing that kind of stuff. And also, you know, like ritualistic stuff. The moon stuff is you know, when you do like moon rituals and all that, that's actually what I've seen psychically is about gods from not, and the gods are actually just entities, like darker entities that have come to Earth and posed as gods and were worshipped. So they're false gods, and so it's rituals towards a false god. Knowingly or unknowingly, people are doing that. And I mean, even Christianity, that's a ritual, like going to church and all that, and drinking the wine and all of it. That's ritualistic as well. So, you know, it's just being aware of the things that you're doing and why you do it. And, you know, there's nothing wrong with symbolism, right? Like we have symbolism within everything that we do, you know, and sometimes it's a really great hallmark or motivator. Like sometimes I buy plants, you know, to hallmark different events in my life that really are meaningful, and they remind me of different things, you know, that I believe in, I guess, you know, as far as like, I have a plant, I don't know where it's at, it's in the other room, but that plant specifically is also to remember, like, to be vulnerable at all times, like to be authentic and to be true to yourself, because it's calling in, you know, the light within you by being vulnerable, by addressing the dark within you, by addressing your fears, by knowing who you are and being unchained by those things is really healing. It's really healing, and nothing can attach to you, nothing can trick you, nothing can manipulate you if you know who you are and you're proud of who you are, and you always work towards becoming a better you, and you work towards helping others, you know, in a way that is honest and true to you. So yeah, I feel like there was something else that I wanted to talk about, and I'm trying to think of what. It was like one last thing. I really can't remember. So I will end it here unless I remember it during this. I'll pull a card for everyone. This will be a message for those of you who have stuck through here. This is a message from our guardian angels. This is your life's purpose. So it says that the prayer below it is, Archangel Michael, you know the details of my divine life purpose, and I ask you to help me be aligned with my goals. Please clearly guide my actions so that I'm taking the best steps to fully manifest my wonderful and meaningful career. And we'll pull one more. Faith in values. It says your values are guiding principles. Use them to choose the way you live your life. So I think that summarizes the things that I have said pretty well. Pretty good. That is a really good summary. Makes it a little more concise following through with that. But yeah, so essentially it is saying like to believe in yourself, take note of where your values are, where your morals lie, have a firm foundation when it comes to that, and so you don't have anyone cross your boundaries. You know where your boundaries are set, and to also just continuously pray and to continuously believe that when you follow through with that whisper within your heart, or that calling, that secret quiet calling, that you will eventually, if you're not there yet, if you don't fully feel satisfied with where you are right now, that things will turn around for you in due time. You just have to trust the process. You just have to trust that you will find the way, you will find the tools, because you were already born with the tools to create the life that you need. You know, like for this lifetime, you have the tools ready for that. It's just about figuring out how to use them and how to, really practice with that and put it into action in a way that will best serve everyone. I think that's the other thing that I want to touch on really quick. And it has to do with this as well. With the celebrity readings, I want you guys to also understand that I am communicating with their guardian angels, with my guardian angels, the archangels, sometimes passed away loved ones, if they are of the angelic side and they have something to communicate with regards to their life. But ultimately, you know, it is up to their free will when it comes to a lot of the things that are going on in their life. Sometimes things are, they're in their destined path, and I get a little bit more into that in the next video, but essentially it has to do with just the natural order of things and things that have happened through previous lifetimes, so that's why they're occurring. But ultimately, like, it's in your hands. Your fate is ultimately in your hands. I guess that's what I was trying to say too, with like running into the grocery store and robbing it or something crazy like that. Like, I would never do that, but like, that would be my choice, right? And I don't see any psychic being able to predict that if I just randomly up and choose to do that. So, you know, I see this time and time again, you guys. Unfortunately, I don't mean to sound so doom and gloom about it, but this is the reality of things, and I'm always going to be straight up with you guys. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. But, you know, if I see in a reading warnings, if I see in a reading advice, it's up to that person on what they want to do. And I'm not gonna lie, the majority of people don't really take the advice. You know, like, if it doesn't, like, people are gonna do what they want to do. And, you know, the more, I don't know, it's like the more, especially when I do like other psychics and stuff, or like people who are ascending, or not necessarily ascending, but like enlightening, like becoming more spiritually aware, there is that temptation I see with people to go the other way, or to like not listen and not be disciplined. And, you know, even asking like, or simple things and not doing it kind of just shows where you're headed. And it's not all rainbows and butterflies on the other side, right? Like, it's worlds within worlds within worlds, within shapeshifters, within, you know, attachments. And again, it's about knowing yourself and taking it slow in order to trust yourself, to trust the process. Otherwise, you can be taken, and that's again, that's not to scare you, but it's the reality of things. And people don't talk about that, I don't feel enough. People really don't talk about it, because when it comes to this kind of work, there are a lot of not so you know, I don't know how to put it, but, you know, it's not so safe. And maybe they know it, maybe they don't. A lot of times they do know it. And, you know, you just have to be careful, you guys. And this is a specific message for those of you who are interested in pursuing this to some capacity. This is a message for those of you who have felt that you are speaking to things on the other side. You need to really practice discernment, and you need to figure out who you are and heal yourself before you just start reaching out into places that you can't see, right? Because especially with these darker beings, they need a body, you know, they need a person, they need someone with a soul in order to inhabit and to attach to and to work through. And it's all a ruse and a manipulation, a trick in order to get to you. And if you're not careful, then it can very easily happen. And I see it happen time and time and time and time and time again. And, you know, I do feel personally my purpose is really to call the light out in everyone, because once you get into that place, it is possible to get out of it. But you know, it just, I think the way for me to do it is to really call out the beauty in people, the beauty in their soul, because these beings don't want you to see that. They don't want you to remember that about yourself. They don't want you to recognize that about yourself, because they want to inhabit you. And, you know, it's all fun and games until it's not. And whether we like it or not, we're entering into a time of great spiritual change, and we need to be ready. We need to be prepared, and we need to have a firm foundation of what the right thing is, for everyone and for yourself. And a lot of times that takes self-discipline and taking a step back and reevaluating, because if you're jumping into other realms and you haven't even been able to fix the things in this realm, you're gonna have a very, very, very not so fun time, whether you even realize it or not. Like, it'll probably happen a lot faster than you think. And so really get in order your 3D life and your morals and your beliefs, and heal yourself and heal yourself and heal yourself. That is number one, healing yourself and finding your purpose in the physical, not in the spiritual, but in the physical. What is it that you can do for the betterment of humanity? So I'll pull one more of each and then we'll be done here. Energy healing work. It says, thank you for sending healing energy to me and through me for my own blessings and for all those around me. Thank you for connecting me to loving and high integrity healers and teachers of energy healing modalities. So you are healed and you are healing. And please, you guys, please continue to do that in a way that is right for you. And angel warriors, angels oversee your life and protect you. So once again, you are protected, you are being healed, and you are healing. And please, please, please take this as a sign for you whenever you see this video, considering that you stuck through it this entire time, that big things are happening for you. Incredible healing, peace, and love, true love is coming to you, and true enlightenment, not a false enlightenment is coming to you. And if you already are enlightened, you feel there's more levels coming to you, and you will feel very, very self-assured. You'll feel even more assured than you ever have been. Okay, so thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.